Follow justice and justice alone, so that you may live and possess the land the Lord your God is giving you. Deuteronomy 16:20.
In the complex dance of democracy, power is divided, but not equally wielded. It's a delicate balance, a carefully constructed framework designed to prevent any single entity from becoming too dominant. This division ensures checks and balances, the cornerstone of a free and just society. When the Supreme Court speaks, can the Senate dare to overturn it? Can a legislative body, elected by the people, overrule the highest court in the land, the ultimate interpreter of the Constitution? This question strikes at the very heart of our system of governance, especially when it involves something as explosive as the impeachment of a vice president, a process fraught with political implications, public scrutiny, and the potential to destabilize the nation. The stakes are incredibly high. A question that stirs heated debate. Can the Senate of the Philippines overturn the decision of the Supreme Court? It's a question that resonates far beyond the halls of power, touching upon the fundamental principles of law, justice, and the separation of powers, especially when it blocks an impeachment complaint, like in the case of Vice President Sara Duterte, a scenario that tests the limits of legislative authority and the independence of the judiciary. This hypothetical situation highlights the critical importance of understanding the constitutional framework. The Philippine Constitution is clear. It lays out the structure of our government, defines the powers of each branch, and safeguards the rights of every citizen. It is the supreme law of the land. Article the 8th, Section 1, grants judicial power to one Supreme Court. This single sentence is the bedrock of judicial independence, ensuring that the courts are free from undue influence from other branches of government. This court interprets the law, the Constitution, and resolves legal controversies. Its decisions are not suggestions. They are final rulings. They carry the weight of legal precedent and bind all individuals and institutions within the Philippines. Even more powerful is Article the 8th, Section 4, Paragraph 2. This provision explicitly protects the Supreme Court's interpretations of the law from being overturned by any other entity. No doctrine laid down by the Supreme Court may be modified or reversed, except by the court itself. This is a critical safeguard, ensuring the consistency and stability of legal principles in the Philippines, not by Congress, not even by the Senate. The legislative branch, while powerful in its own right, cannot encroach upon the judicial domain of interpreting the law. In the impeachment process, the House of Representatives initiates the complaint. They act as the prosecution, gathering evidence and presenting the case against the official in question. If it passes the 1/3 vote, it's elevated to the Senate, where senators become judges in an impeachment trial. The Senate then acts as a court, weighing the evidence and determining the guilt or innocence of the accused. But here's the key. The Senate can only act after a valid complaint is transmitted. The complaint must meet certain legal and constitutional standards before it can proceed to the Senate for trial. If the Supreme Court steps in and rules the complaint unconstitutional, the Senate has no choice. The judiciary acts as the final gatekeeper, ensuring that the impeachment process adheres to the Constitution. The trial stops there. The Senate's power to try an impeached official is contingent upon the validity of the complaint, as determined by the Supreme Court. Imagine a real-world example. The House of Representatives files an impeachment complaint against Vice President Sara Duterte. This is a hypothetical scenario, but it serves to illustrate the principles at play. It gains traction. Public opinion is divided, political alliances are tested, and the nation watches with bated breath. But before it reaches the Senate, the Supreme Court declares it unconstitutional. The highest court in the land has spoken, rendering its judgment on the validity of the complaint. What now? Can the Senate still try her? Does the Senate have the authority to proceed with an impeachment trial despite the Supreme Court's ruling? The answer is a resounding no. The Constitution does not give the Senate the power to override the Supreme Court. To do so would be a direct violation of the separation of powers and a challenge to the very foundations of our democracy. The Constitution does not give the Senate the power to override the Supreme Court. The principle of judicial review ensures that the Supreme Court has the final say on matters of constitutional interpretation. This is the essence of democracy, separation of powers. Each branch of government has its own distinct role and responsibilities, preventing any one branch from becoming too powerful. Congress makes the laws. They are the voice of the people, enacting legislation that reflects the will of the electorate. The executive enforces them. The president and the executive branch are responsible for implementing and administering the laws passed by Congress, but only the judiciary interprets them. The courts, and especially the Supreme Court, have the power to determine the meaning and application of the law. And when the Supreme Court speaks, whether on impeachment, legality, or constitutionality, its word is law. Its decisions set precedents that guide future legal interpretations and shape the course of justice in the Philippines. And when the Supreme Court speaks, whether on impeachment, legality, or constitutionality, its word is law. To ignore or defy its rulings is to undermine the rule of law itself. If the Senate defies the Supreme Court, it doesn't just ignore a ruling. It risks a constitutional crisis. No branch is above the Constitution, not even the chamber of the people's elected senators. The very fabric of our democracy is at stake. For more in-depth legal and criminal justice discussions, subscribe to the Cesar Lombroso channel. Because understanding the law is the first step toward real justice. Knowledge is power, and informed citizens are the best defense against tyranny and injustice.
I can do all things through Christ which strengthened me. Philippians 4:13. This verse emphasizes faith, perseverance, and reliance on God's strength in all aspects of life, including challenges in law, justice, and moral decision-making. It serves as a reminder that with Christ's guidance, we can overcome obstacles, pursue righteousness, and uphold justice with integrity. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more educational content. See you in the next video.